to change passwords and set up user permissions on a Durrani NVR. First thing you need to do is just right-click your mouse to get into the main menu. So your firmware may look a little bit different than the one I've got on the screen here. You can choose to go in and upgrade your firmware to the newest release. There is another video on the durrani.com.au website which will show you how to run through that process. But even if it's the old one, it will still be very similar to the one we have here today. So what we need to do is just pop into the system settings of the NVR, and here you'll find users. So just left clicking the mouse here. So as it's set up, you'll have an admin user and a default user. The default user cannot be altered or changed in any way and only has rights to view the cameras. So that's the access that you'll have before you actually log into the NVR. It's what you see on the live screen. So the administrator is generally the installer who will set this up. And what you can do is you can go in here and edit the password. So the authentication is asking for the existing password for the NVR. So this one here has been changed to 12. So once you've entered the password, just selecting next, and here will ask you if you want to change the password. So we are the administrator here, and we'll change the password. So you can pick a new one there, anything that you like, but you must meet the requirements listed down below here. So it'll ask you to be 9 to 20 characters long and including a symbol there. So once you've entered both of those, we can enable lock pattern and you can choose to draw. Now this isn't available on the old interface. Again, you can choose to upgrade if you like, or you just enter the password. So if you want to enable a lock pattern, you can choose to draw one here. So you just pick. Makes it a lot easier to remember and log into your NVR. And then OK. So once you've entered the password and confirmed, just hitting OK. And then that there will update it for you. So if you want to add a user, so that there is normally the installer will set up the administrator here for you. And what we can do is add a user. So what we can do is just add a username here. This can be anything that you like. Enter. And we can choose to be an operator or a guest. So an operator has privileges like playing back, restarting the NVR, doing configurations, things like that. A guest purely has the option just to view the cameras. You'll see it changes down here, what the guest and the operator can do. So we'll put one through as an operator, and then it's going to ask you for a password. And you must make sure it becomes a strong password. So we'll hit enter there and just put back in. And you can choose to enable a lock pattern if you like, or just have the code. So it depends on what privileges you want this user to have. So if we just tick enable lock pattern, we can draw another lock pattern for this user. Now down the bottom here, you can choose what privileges you want that operator to have. So do you want them to be able to configure the NVR, like make changes, set up line crossings, things like that, change image, scenes, all those kind of things they can configure. Do upgrades on the NVR, obviously view and export logs, or restart the system. So we can choose what we want to be able to do. And then live view as well. So we can choose what cameras we want this user to be able to look at. So if you have a camera here you want to hide from somebody or not be able to give access to, we can just make sure we don't give them access to that particular camera. So you can choose whatever you like to do there. And playback as well, we can choose what functions we want to give them access to for playing back, for recording, and PTZ control. So you can set those options that you want to have a look at, and obviously down the bottom if you scroll down you get audio as well. So if you have audio enabled cameras, you can choose not to give a certain operator access to that audio. So once you've set all those parameters that you like, all we're going to do is hit OK. And what that'll do is add the Durrani as the operator there for you. So the administrator and the default account are preset by the NVR and cannot be deleted. The administrator you can change. Reserved user, there's not much you can do with it. You cannot change passwords or anything like that on it. It's there basically when you start up the NVR, it'll display the cameras on your screen for you. All right, so once that's done, we can hit exit. Now when you log in, so we can log out now as the administrator. So if we right click and then to get into the menu, what we can do up here, we'll see what user we want. So if we drop down the administrator, we'll see the admin and then Durrani as well, which is the one we just created. So if we choose Durrani, we can enter the password that we set up, or we can just use the unlock pattern that we chose. And that there will get us into the MVR with the privileges assigned to that user. That's all you need to do there. So now I'll show you what that, how that corresponds to your mobile app as well. So now we've set up a different user in the Durrani NVR. We can choose to share those privileges via your mobile phone app. So once you open up the app onto your mobile phone, we just need to select the menu button up the top here for the 3 lines. And we just go into devices. So the MVR that we've just been configuring is the test MVR, so we'll just select that one there with the 3 lines. And what we can do down here is just hit share down the bottom. So I'm sure as the administrator, I'm sharing here. So we can choose to share to either a username or email. So if you need to, if your partner or your kids or something along those lines or business partner has created another account on the Durrani IP Viewer app, we can share to that username or that email address. So we just need to type that into there, who we want to share to. Just touching here to bring up the keyboard. And we can share that to another account that we have. And then just selecting OK. So we're going to share that to Durrani, and you choose how long you want to share that device for. So we can just select the arrow on the right here and just set the time and date when you want that sharing to expire. So if you just need it to last forever, you can just roll around the year to 2099 and just hitting OK. So now just onto sharing permissions. If we select that there, what we'll see is Durrani has popped up on your phone here, which wasn't there before. So you can share as the administrator or share as Durrani. So if you only want to give access to one camera, that we would have set up in the sharing permissions. And if we select Durrani from there, they will only have the accesses that have been set up by you in the user interface. So once that's done, we just hit share down the bottom. So what that would have done now is shared to this account with the sharing permissions that you have set.